Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Aaron Rift NoDQ. Curtis Butler with a $2 super chat right off the bat. And thank you, Curtis, for plugging the President's Day sale, which you guys can check out over at NoDQ.com/shirts. Now, I'm sure you can tell my voice is shot again. I'm not sure what happened, but this weekend was crazy fun. Hung out with Caitlin. We went to Universal Studios in the pouring rain and still had an amazing time. We went down to Hollywood. We checked out Michael Myers' house in South Pasadena. I recorded NoDQ Live last night with Jeff. We went over an hour. And now, Monday night, my voice is just completely gone. But the show must go on. So if you thought last Tuesday night was a botch edition of NoDQ Live, this one may top it. We'll just have to wait and see how this goes. I'm going to do the best I can to get through this. So let's do it. Tony H with the $2 super chat. He says, that crowd was more dead than Corey Graves' marriage. Ouch. Savage comment of the night so far. And we're early. We still have a ways to go. Let's see how things play out as this edition of NoDQ Live progresses. All right, so the beginning of the show, we had Triple H come out and he had several announcements. The first announcement was that D-Generation X is going into the Hall of Fame, and DX includes Triple H, of course, Shawn Michaels, X-Pac, the New Age Outlaws, and China. That is correct. China is going into the Hall of Fame. So there you go. Maybe not the ideal situation. I think people are hoping that China would go in by herself, but at least it's something. China finally going into the WWE Hall of Fame. No Rick Rude, though. I guess Rude was considered to be separate from DX. He was more of an insurance policy for DX. He was their agent, but not really part of the group. Whatever. Power Packers 90 with a $5 super chat. He says, I never want to hear people complain about smart crowds again. At least they sound like they care. The dinosaurs are less dead than that crowd. Ouch. We got some savage lines tonight from you guys, and I really do appreciate the funny comments here. I definitely need it with this sore throat here. Hamp Connor with a $2 super chat. He says, you better prepare for me to bitch the whole time. Well, we're used to that already, so I'm not going to be surprised about that. Virtue says, I want a more organic crowd. For those of you asking, the crowd tonight, WWE was in Lafayette, Louisiana. Not one of the better crowds for WWE, let's be real here. It's not Chicago, it's not Detroit, it's not Toronto. It's not even Los Angeles or New York. It's Lafayette, Louisiana. With all due respect to people that live there, yeah, traditionally it's not a hot crowd. It's like almost as bad as Corpus Christi. I still say Corpus Christi is the worst town as far as crowd reactions go. What do you guys think? Worst WWE crowd in the country? I want to hear it in the chat room, and I'll read off some of the responses. So Triple H, in addition to announcing DX, he announced that 4 top NXT superstars would be competing on Raw in their debut matches on the main roster. We had video packages for the NXT champion, Tommaso Ciampa. We had a video package for Johnny Gargano. We also had video packages for Ricochet and Alistair Black. And last but not least, Triple H did announce a tables match because for those of you that wanted more Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman, Triple H was there to give it to you because you're the authority and you want to see Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin, Mr. TGI Fridays, yet again. It's the dream match of all dream matches. Hamp Connor with the $2 super chat. He says, WrestleMania is 48 days away, and I'm even less interested, he says. Thank you for that, Hamp, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more rants from you as the evening progresses. We have a Smoke and Relax. Nice username with a $2 super chat. I don't smoke, but no problem with it. So if it's your thing, whatever works, my friend. He says, I hope I can become a member of the NoDQ Galaxy. Well, thank you for that. And you are. You all are part of the NoDQ Galaxy. And I appreciate every supporter out there for being part of the team. Thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate it. All right. Yes, I am dealing with a very sore throat here, 362 LCP. So just got to wing it. The show must go on, as they say. Well, thank you, Curtis. I'm glad you love the voice. All right, so anyways, we had Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin in a tables match. I really had no interest in this. We had Strowman win with a power slam through the table. Pretty much a house show match. It's the same match they've been doing at the live events, and I thought this was what was going to happen at the pay-per-view, quite frankly. But WWE swerved us by having Corbin win, and then there was no real follow-up with the three faces of terror, Strowman versus Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley. No follow-up to that, by the way. So it was like WWE just did a swerve for the sake of swerving people. I would prefer just to end the damn feud already, and hopefully this is it. And it also renders the match last night to be totally worthless. So anyway, Strowman was walking to the back after his victory. Paul Heyman was standing out there because he was about to cut his promo. And then Strowman stared at him, grabbed him. Heyman was pleading for mercy, saying, "You're hurting me." And Strowman was a nice guy, and he let Heyman go. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but this made Strowman look like a total biatch as far as I'm concerned. I mean, give me a break. Why is he being so soft all of a sudden? He's the monster among men. This is like a little child who's so polite to not beat up his elder, respect his elder. Well, I guess that's not a child, but I guess a well-mannered citizen. This isn't a monster among men. Come on now. This was dumb. So anyways, after the commercial, we had Paul Heyman. He talked about Lesnar versus Rollins being the main event of WrestleMania, and then he proceeded to show a story of Brock Lesnar. Just in case you're not familiar with what Lesnar has done over the past 3 years. You know, Suplex City, blah, 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 never loses except for Goldberg, and then he gets his win back. Heyman narrated it. He talked about how WWE recruited Lesnar, and it was not Lesnar wanting to go to WWE. You know, got to get that heel heat that Lesnar really doesn't like wrestling that much. He's just doing it as a job. He brought up Lesnar going to UFC because he got bored of the competition, dominated everybody in UFC, and then decided to go back to WWE because there was fresh meat. And one of those guys, I guess not so fresh, was The Undertaker. The streak ended, footage was shown of that. And then Paul Heyman asked the crowd about the match, what they think, and the crowd was like, burn it down. They were chanting, burn it down. But then Heyman said there's not enough fuel to put out Suplex City. This led to Finn Balor coming out, and again, instead of maybe getting in Heyman's face, maybe knocking his ass out or being cool, Balor just comes out and smiles, and that's that. Pretty lame, again. After the commercial, we had Finn Balor cut a promo. He got the cheap pop by mentioning the past IC champions like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart and Ric Flair, which I love Ric Flair to death. But when you think of IC champions, you don't really think of Ric Flair. Yeah, he held it, but it was merely just for the sake of him saying he was an IC champion. No other reason. He was not a great IC champion, not even the top 50. And Ric Flair is one of the greatest of all time, but IC title was not his thing. So why Flair was mentioned, other than the fact that he's on Raw next week, just really made no sense whatsoever. So we had Lio Rush come out. He said that Balor doesn't deserve to be champion, and then due to the distraction, Lashley jumped Balor from behind, and both of them were beating him down, and that's when Ricochet from NXT made the save. And of course, you know what happens here. When somebody makes a save, we go to commercial. During the match, they got to make a match. They got to make a tag team match once the commercial break hits. And sure enough, we come back from commercial, and we got ourselves a tag team match, players. Ricochet looked great, of course. He's Ricochet. He's just amazing. No other words to put it. He's the one and only, whatever they call him. He was doing all sorts of his usual crazy acrobatics, and unfortunately, the crowd wasn't really that much into it, but they did get hot by the end. I mean, Ricochet was that good, he even woke up the graveyard that is Lafayette, Louisiana. Hamp Connor with a $2 super chat. He says, Flair won it, and then I took a 20-minute nap and missed it. Pretty much, although I will say the best part of Ric Flair during that time was when he was feuding with Edge and you had that TLC match. I'm not sure if he was IC champion during that time or not, but that was great. Got a $2 super chat from Have a Smoke and Relax. He says, WWE 2K19, my player mode has better storylines. Ouch. That's a pretty savage line. Is it the most savage line of the night? What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Let me know. All right, so moving on here. Ricochet looked great, of course. Ricochet ended up scoring the victory over Lio Rush with his finishing flippy move, whatever it's called. And yeah, I don't know what this means, if these NXT guys are now permanently on the main roster, or this was just a way to tease them for the main roster. You know, I feel like WWE should wait until after WrestleMania if you're going to do it. Why waste their debuts on some random Raw in a random city when nobody really cares? Like, imagine if these guys debuted in Chicago. That would be epic. This was still good, but I feel like the timing was just off a little bit. Just felt really random to me. And I'm not sure what WWE was trying to accomplish by doing it on this particular night. Are they really that desperate for ratings? Does NXT really matter that much to the ratings? I don't know. Sam Atwood with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Sam. He says, for the next Strowman-Corbin match, which stipulation would you want to see? Really, bro? Really? Pole match, stairs match, or an Iron Man match? For crying out loud. I guess I would like to see a pole match just to laugh at it. At least I would get some comedy out of a pole match. Stairs match sounds incredibly dull. Iron Man match, you gotta be kidding me. That's like the last one I want to see. So, of the three poisons, the poison I pick is the pole match, bro. Alright, where are we at now here? Let's see. Alright, so we had Triple H backstage chatting with Natalya, and then Drew McIntyre met up with Triple H, said he wants to prove himself against Seth Rollins in a match. But then Dean Ambrose came up and said that he's not doing anything tonight, so how about him instead? And then he proceeded to slap Drew McIntyre really hard. And then Triple H said, you still want Rollins? And then Drew's like, change the damn match. And that's what led to Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre, which I will get to here in a few minutes. We had a recap of what happened over the weekend between Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda Rousey, including what went down at the pay-per-view. And then we had the announcers bring up how WWE will be arresting Becky if she tries anything like that again. So yeah, whatever. Next up, we had the Lucha House Party versus Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Total filler match, nothing to it. Lindsay Dorado pinned Hawkins. The losing streak continues. Not much else to say about it. Then we had a really bizarre segment on the show. We had Otis and Tucker being interviewed. They're referring to themselves as Blue Collar Solid. They said it's all about eating steaks and lifting weights, blah, blah, blah. But I will say these guys do have some charisma, especially Otis. They were interrupted by the lady, Lacey Evans. She came out, she walked to the ring and then walked back. And then Otis and Tucker proceeded to march down to the ring like the Bushwhackers and walk back, and that was the segment. Really bizarre. Now, is WWE going to pair Lacey Evans with these guys? Otherwise, what was the point of this other than just, I guess, to keep these guys on TV and not have people forget about them already? I don't know. Speaking of forgetting about people, no EC3 unless I missed something. Maybe I did. I'm sure somebody will correct me if EC3 was on this show. So we had a backstage segment with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable congratulating DIY on making it to the main roster. And Gable brought up how he defeated them in NXT. And by the way, no EC3 on this show. I got that confirmed from the chat room. Ciampa said that he's there to make an impression. They're there to make an impression, and that's at the Revival's expense. So then we had DIY versus Revival. Really good match, you know. Not a surprise. These guys tore it up. Unfortunately, crowd really did not care. I mean, it almost felt like you could hear crickets when the Revival came out there. So as great as they are in the ring, at this point, the crowd just doesn't care about them. Not emotionally invested. Match was really good, though. I mean, great showing by DIY. Revival looked great. I mean, fun match. Good TV match. No doubt about it. I was wondering how this was going to go down, though, because, you know, Revival just won the titles. Do you really want them losing right off the bat? But at the same time, do you really want your NXT World Champion losing on his first Raw match? So it felt like, as cool as this match was, like, you know, I feel like neither team should be losing at this stage of the game. So, of course, somebody had to lose. WWE could have done a cheap finish, which I actually would not have complained about, you know. I just feel like it was at the right time for one of these teams to lose cleanly. The team that lost cleanly was the Raw Tag Team Champions. Revival lost. Dawson got pinned by the dual super kick knee strike combo from Gargano and Ciampa. And that's that. Revival lost to a team that probably won't be called up yet, and this is just a one-off thing for now. Who knows? I'm not sure what this was meant to accomplish, other than, I guess, just to satisfy the diehards. So next up, we had Finn Balor and Ricochet interviewed backstage. Ricochet said that, you know, there's no better feeling than actually realizing your dreams, and he said that everyone's going to see that this is only the beginning. He's the one and only. Good promo by him. Nice start for Ricochet. Then we had Kevin Owens do a selfie video. I guess he's a babyface now. He said he still has a few weeks to go before being cleared. He's never been more focused. He then ate some popcorn with his son, Owen. And then he said he is ready to fight again. So I guess there you go. Kevin Owens, the family man, full force here on WWE Raw. Hamp Kano with a $2 super chat. He says, another rant. Why the F is Rude not main eventing? Your guess is as good as mine, but I think it's just because as good as Rude is in the ring, you take away the glorious entrance and the music, and he's not the most charismatic guy. I like Rude. I think he's a solid performer, but he's not that charismatic, and I think what's really helped him even make it this far in WWE is the fact that he has a badass theme song and entrance. I mean, just being real here. I like Rude. I do. Yeah, he was the TNA World Champion, and we saw how well TNA did with that. All right, so moving on here. Well, actually, first, we got a $2 super chat from Tony H. He says, Ricochet 205 Live bound. Hope I'm wrong. That would be a mistake. I said this with Jeff last night. I feel like Ricochet is, quite frankly, too good for 205 Live. I mean, this guy can be a top star in WWE. He is that good in the ring. He is just an absolute athletic machine. Just unbelievable what he can do. It's like superhuman. And yeah, there's a lot of great cruiserweights, but as far as I'm concerned, Ricochet's in a class of his own. I mean, he may be like the most athletically gifted guy in WWE. He is right up there at the very top. All right, moving on here, we had Bayley and Sasha cut a promo to celebrate their victory, even though they already had a celebration promo at the pay-per-view. Sasha said, it's not a dream anymore. We did this. And then Sasha said she couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. Bayley said, yeah, they fought, but they realized that being together, they're changing the world. Changing the world like All Elite Wrestling? Interesting. We had my favorite wrestler in the world, Nia Jax, come out along with the immovable object, Tamina. Nia said that this is the best they'll ever get, and she really doesn't understand Bayley and Sasha. She doesn't get them. She said Sasha only cares about Sasha, and said that Sasha always loses her title in the first defense. Tamina then cut a promo, which is pretty rare. She said they got lucky and their luck is about to run out. These two behemoths, the Irresistible Force and the Immovable Object, got into the ring, but they were quickly fought off by the tag champs, and that was that. Ham Connor with the $2 super chat. He says, yeah, the bore and lame connection. Ouch. Pretty good one. Don't know if it was the most savage comment of the night, but that one was pretty good. Thank you for that. I am excited for All Elite Wrestling, Martin. I hope they can change the world as they're hyping up. So we had the DX Hall of Fame video. Everyone got their classic moments shown, although not the most raunchy segments were shown. Like nothing with Triple H and Shawn Michaels using profanity, or Triple H showing off his big weenie, or pissing on the crowd. So there were a couple good ones that we didn't get to see, but you know, we did see most of them. It was a good video package. I liked it. So then we had Dean Ambrose versus Drew McIntyre. Apparently Kayfabe Candy Ass took exception to this fan in the chat that said wrestling is fake. So yeah, don't say the F word in front of Kayfabe Candy Ass. He will kick your ass. Take that nasty attitude, turn that sumbitch sideways, and stick it straight up your Kayfabe Candy Ass. So anyways, we had Dean versus Drew. I'm so happy. So happy. Praise the Lord. No more sirens for Dean Ambrose. Now, of course, didn't really mean anything because he got his ass kicked. It was basically a squash match. Drew McIntyre hit one Claymore kick and then decided, to hell with this bastard. Hit him with a second Claymore kick and pinned him. And that was that. Quick match. Looks like Ambrose did not agree to a new contract. I mean, it looks like what it probably is. We got another super chat here. Let's get to that one from Ryan with $2. He says, who else do you see going into the 2019 Hall of Fame? Well, I wasn't really expecting DX this year. If you want to believe the rumors, Hart Foundation will be going in, but will WWE really be inducting two groups? Now, I know it's pretty much just the tag team, but I'd rather Hart Foundation go in with Owen and Bulldog and the whole crew and Brian Pillman. But that's just me. I think you do it with Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart, and Jimmy Hart. I love Jimmy Hart, but, you know, he was only part of Hart Foundation's career. And let's face it, their best years were when they were baby faces. So, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. All right, moving on here. Got a couple more super chats. Let's see if I can pull them up. Future Shocker with a... I just missed it. With a $5 super chat. He says, Stephanie inducts China by saying that I took something away from you and now I give you something for the oh shit moment of the night. That would be pretty lame. I mean, Stephanie should not be anywhere near this induction speech as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it would be funny, but, you know, I think that would be really, really messed up to do that. Yeah, it's pretty savage, but no, not a fan of that. Man, we got some people acting up in the chat room. Let's see. Kayfabe Candy Ass is on a banning spree. He just banned another guy for calling wrestling fake. So it's still real to Kayfabe Candy Ass, damn it. Don't be talking smack about wrestling, calling it fake. This is some serious business, folks. You don't talk trash about wrestling when you're in a wrestling chat room. You just don't do it. Kayfabe says they're spamming, which, all right, touche. So anyways, we had a continuation of Paul Heyman's video package because they stopped at The Undertaker's streak ending, but we had to see more. We had more victims shown, John Cena, Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, a bunch of other guys, Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, yada, yada, yada. Heyman said that Brock will put Rollins down. It's not a prediction. It's not even a spoiler. It's the end of the story of a man named Seth Rollins. Rollins then cut a promo, says that Lesnar's reign of terror is done, and he promises he will leave WrestleMania as the Universal Champion, even if he goes out on a stretcher. There you go. Seth Rollins, they're really building him up as the guy that's going to potentially end the reign of terror. I hope he does. But I'm still picking Brock to win at WrestleMania. I know I could change my mind, but I'm not going to. I am sticking to my guns. I am going to say Brock Lesnar beats Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. I'm not changing it. Even if the betting odds come out and they say that Rollins is winning. I ain't doing it. I'm not betting against Brock Lesnar. I want to be wrong. I want to jinx it. So I'm going to say Brock Lesnar retains the Universal title at WrestleMania. And I will not be any happier if I'm wrong. I will have a smile that is so big you would have to have it surgically removed, as Jerry Lawler might say. I would be happier than Caitlyn would if the Bella Twins came to her house and had dinner with her. I mean, I would just be so friggin' happy if Seth Rollins beat Lesnar and Lesnar just goes away and we're done with this crap. Anyways, moving on here. We had Seth Rollins be interrupted by Dean Ambrose, and Ambrose was like, "Where were you out there?" And then Rollins was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you out of your mind?" And then Ambrose just stared at him, made a goofy face. The crowd laughed. I actually thought this was pretty funny, even though it's just, it's basically Ambrose doing comedy here and, the stuff that wasn't really working for him in the first place. But it was funny. And then he just made the face and said, "Eh," and then he walked away. And that was the segment. All right, so we had Hamp Connor with a $2 super chat. He says, "Who should induct DX? I say Slaughter or Bret Hart." Sergeant Slobber. I don't think it's going to be Bret. I don't really like Bret as the choice. This is an interesting one. Who should induct DX? I'd love to see it be The Rock if they could get The Rock, just because he was a big part of the 98 feud between DX and The Nation. I like The Rock as a choice. I think he's a great choice. I'd go with The Rock if it was me. If you could get The Rock, you want to make this as big of a deal as possible, I'd go with The Rock. Maybe Mick Foley. Mick Foley would not be a bad choice. Especially since Foley won his first world title with DX helping him out and having his back. So, WWE could play up on that. So Have a Smoke and Relax with a $2 super chat says, "Would you ever do a live super chat Q&A video?" I'm thinking about it. I may do it one of these days, like a special live edition of NoDQ video where you guys can super chat questions. I may do that. Just catch me completely off guard with no time to prepare for questions. And by the way, I really don't usually spend much time. Unless it's a topic I'm really not that familiar with, I usually just try to wing it and go with my initial gut feeling on what the answer to the question is, rather than try to spend too much time thinking about it and over-analyzing it. But that's just my own personal style. I'd love to see Jason Sensation as part of the DX induction. That would be really sweet, but don't know if that's going to happen. I would not get my hopes up on it. All right, so moving on here. Let's see what we got. Tony H with a $2 super chat time. Thank you for that, Tony. He left, wait a minute, he did leave a comment. And Melton Babbles just said wrestling is fake. So somebody's just coming in with all their Twitter accounts and making it clear, guys, wrestling's fake. Yeah, sorry to break it to y'all. Tony H with a $2 super chat says, Hall and Nash for a full Click reunion at the Hall of Fame. Didn't they do that a couple of years ago? I could have sworn they did do the Click reunion already at the Hall of Fame. I thought it was even at the one I was at in 2015. I'm sad we're not getting an NWO induction. I'd rather see NWO go in before DX, quite frankly. I feel like without the NWO, you probably would not have DX. I like the fact that Horseman went in first, NWO should go in next, and then DX. But whatever, it is what it is. I mean, it feels ass backwards. Why induct DX first and then go backwards and induct the NWO? I guess it's just, as far as WWE is concerned, DX was the better faction. Whatever. Elias cut a promo. He said he was the best hygienic person of anyone living in Lafayette, Louisiana. And by the way, thank you so much, Steven. Steven Pham with a $20 super chat donation. Thank you for that, my friend. I really do appreciate it. Steven, you left no comment. I'd love to give you a shout out or answer a question. So if you got anything you would like to have have an opinion on, I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Yeah, we got a lot of spammers in the chat room tonight. Aaron Joel with a $2 super chat donation says the Hall of Fame isn't a race. Well, the Hall of Fame isn't really much of anything these days. It's basically just WWE just throwing in whoever they want into the Hall of Fame for political reasons. It's not even really that legitimate as far as I'm concerned. You know, I agree with some of the other wrestlers, like, where's the physical Hall of Fame? If you're going to have a Hall of Fame, you might as well have a real building, as far as I'm concerned. Ooh, wrestling is as real as Aaron's hairline. Ouch. That might be the savage comment of the night. Who said that? That is one of the best. Wait, Boston Punk, no. Who said that line? That was a classic line. I missed it now. Oh, well. All right, let's get back to the Raw review. So Elias was tired of being disrespected. He was going to sing a song for himself, sleep into deep consciousness so he would forget that any of the people in Lafayette exist. And I think a lot of other people at home were probably feeling the same way about this crowd. He was, of course, interrupted, as he is every single week, by Alistair Black. Black cut a brief promo and said that Elias will fade to black. He had his badass entrance, looked really cool. Michael Cole explained some of his backstory, talked about how the tattoos each have a different story about his life. Alistair picked up the win with the black mask, so there you go. All the NXT guys beat the main roster guys. So what does this mean? Is WWE perhaps going to debut a show for NXT coming up when WWE starts on Fox in the fall? Maybe. Very interesting to see how this went down with NXT winning over the main roster guys. Like, you want them to be strong, but I mean, they beat some fairly significant names. You know, Elias and the Revival, Lashley. Although it was Leo Rush that got pinned in that one, so that one wasn't as big of a deal. DJ Whitey with a $10 super chat. Thank you for that, DJ. This show was focused on putting over all the NXT guys. I was cool with it all the way to this match. There's no way in hell Elias should be jobbing here. Where's Mahal? Where's Apollo Crews? Anybody? Damn it. Well, thank you for that, DJ, but I'm not sure too many people are missing Jinder Mahal at this point. Let's be real here. Yeah, he was WWE champion, but, I mean, you could argue he shouldn't have been champion in the first place. So, yeah, I don't miss Mahal. Don't miss Apollo, quite frankly. And, you know, he did have that 1 week where he was starting to shine, but, you know, I just don't think him as the smiling babyface is the way to go. All right, so let's see what else we have on this show. We're getting close to the end of Monday Night Raw. Yeah, we are. We have the main event, which, why? Why was this the main event? Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott in a rematch from the squash match at the pay-per-view. Why does Ruby Riott get a rematch? I thought we were done with the mandatory rematches, automatic rematches, especially when there's no storyline reason for it. Ruby lost clean. There was no debate. It was a squash. So why is this match even happening? I was thinking to myself, okay, there's got to be a payoff to this. They're going to do a big angle at the end. Becky's going to show up or Charlotte's going to show up. There's going to be some shenanigans. Something crazy is going to end this show. Guess what? Nothing crazy happened. It was a little bit more of a competitive match, which to me is ass backwards. You should do the competitive match first and then do the rematch where Ronda just beats her decisively and saying, yeah, you never deserved a shot in the first place. The Riott Squad tried to interfere, but they all failed. Ronda tapped her out. She did a big dive onto all three members of the Riott Squad. And then after tapping out Ruby, she beat up the other members of the Riott Squad. And that was the end of Raw. This was a really flat ending to Raw. I did not like it. Waste of my time. Hamp Cano with a $2 super chat says, because we are the authority and we wanted it. Caitlin says, read Stephen Pham's comment. Thank you. What was Stephen Pham's comment? I must have missed it. Okay. Right now, my eyes are glued to the chat room. So if I could please get Stephen Pham's comment, I will happily read it off here right now. So letter grade for Raw. I mean, it was better than average. I mean, the NXT guys alone brought the show up from your average Raw. I mean, that's a given. However, I feel like if you took out the NXT guys, it wasn't a very good Raw. It was a pretty flat show. So I am going to give Raw, I'm going to give a B-. Stephen Pham says, how do I comment with the donation? I don't know if you can, so if you want to just read off your comment now or write it in just as a normal comment, I'll go ahead and read it. I'm seeing a C+ from Michael Wayne, Caleb Jacobs with an A, Tic Tac Tat with an A. Hey Aaron, this is my first time donating. I've been a huge fan of your content since 2012. This is Stephen Pham's comment, courtesy of Noah. Raw 1000, he says, keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat, and I hope you keep tuning in. I hope you guys did enjoy this video despite me not being 100%. But that's life, you know, it is what it is. All right, I still haven't given my letter grade yet. I think did I give it yet? Noah gave the show a B. Have a Smoke and Relax gave it a B-. Offman Rules with a $5 super chat says, bought the NoDQ Galaxy shirt with my name on it today. Took advantage of the code. Buy the shirt. Well, thank you so much for that, Offman Rules. And you guys can pick up a NoDQ shirt by heading over to NoDQ.com. Let me try that again. NoDQ.com. If you guys remember that reference. Samir says I missed a super chat. Oh, crap. All right, let me see. I missed Ken Terminated by Google's super chat. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, Ken Terminated by Google with a $10 super chat. Yeah, that's not a good one to miss. Thank you for that, Ken. And let me... Now I lost it, and I got to try to find it again. Hamp Kano says, because we're the authority and we wanted it. I'm not sure if I read that one already. I lost Ken's comment. Oh, there it is. All right. What's up, Rift? Today is my birthday. Happy birthday to you, Ken. But I wanted to thank you for being the nostalgic critic of wrestling. In other words, watching WWE when we don't have to. Aaron, Rift, and NoDQ kick ass. Well, thank you so much for that, Ken. I really do appreciate it. And you're definitely one of the favorites here. But again, you guys are all awesome, and I really do appreciate it. If you don't have the funds for a super chat and you want to support the site, easy way to do it. Just spread the word. Share a link to this video on social media. Tell a friend. I'm sure you have a friend who watches WWE, or maybe watches All Elite Wrestling when it finally gets going. Let them know about NoDQ Video and NoDQ.com and the channel in general. You know, the word of mouth really goes a long way. So just whatever you can do to spread the word, that is really amazing when you can do that. So thank you guys so much for that. All right, so now my letter grade. My letter grade for the show, I am going to give Raw a B-. I'm only putting it above average because of NXT. And yes, I am dealing with a sore throat here. Like I said at the beginning, I lost my voice over the weekend. Just all the crazy fun and excitement of the weekend. I was like doing all sorts of crazy stuff. You know, we did the 1-hour video with Jeff. We were playing it in a children's playground with Jeff's son Dylan. So that very easy to catch germs there. Was in Hollywood with a bunch of crazy people. So yeah, I mean, it's very easy to catch something. And I was in the pouring rain at Universal with Caitlin. So we were just trying to make the most of it. But yeah, I mean, it was pouring rain in Los Angeles. Crazy, right? But yeah, this has been an insane year in Southern California for the weather. So yeah, B-. Caitlin gives it a C+. So she's less generous than I am. You know, the NXT guys bumped it up above average. Without them, you take NXT guys out, this show might have been like a D+ for me. All right, so TK with a $3 super chat. She says, missed most of the chat, so here's some money. Well, thank you so much for that, TK. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight, and I'm glad you guys stuck it out for the video, even though it's not my best work. And I got a sore throat a couple months ago, and it's just kicking my ass this winter. But thank you guys again for everything. Much love, much appreciation. I will be back tomorrow night. Hopefully, you know, I will do everything in my power unless my voice is 100% gone. I will be back tomorrow night, but that's the drama. Will I be back tomorrow night? Most likely I will. So I'm going to do everything in my power to be back, hopefully with some rest. I can recover a little bit, and the show will go on as scheduled. So hopefully see you guys.